Hello, you beautiful, amazing, stunning, intellectually amazing people listening. It's Keltie, next to Sav. It's hitting the bars. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Savvy Wavy one here, and it's Monday. I woke up Saturday not feeling amazing. Like, you know when you can kind of sense like your body's coming down with something,
Oh, yeah. Yep,
you
yep,
know?
yep.
And so I was like, and what did I decide to do the Sunday? Like Saturday, it was chill. It was amazing. We went to the beach with our friends and we snorkeled. And I've met like these girls that love to collect seashells, just like I do. And like we were out there all day. Our husbands were spearfishing. It was great. Michael caught an octopus. It was super cool. Then Sunday, I know, right? And Sunday we go back out and we catch conch because I want the shell and Michael, and it's in season. You can catch them. And so we cooked the conch, like everything he spearfishes, he cooks and eats. Like that's like the lay of the land. If you fish and you kill, you must eat it. So anyways, our dumbasses decide, let's go to a bar and like near our house. And we proceed to have 3 tequilas, skinny margaritas.
Classic.
I know. And I knew I already wasn't feeling great. And I woke up today just feeling like trash. And I can't tell if I'm sick or if I'm hungover or it's a little bit of both. But like, I'm not about it. I'm going to go to bed at 7 p.m. tonight.
That's like the Mondayest of Mondays. That's just like everything. Oh, summertime, it gets you. Because every day you could just have a little drink, a little margarita. It's summer.
I know.
Like it's just the vibe. And then it bites you in the butt.
Literally. And I'm just like, why did I think 3 drinks was a good idea when I knew I wasn't feeling good? But like, sometimes I just want to live. Let's live.
This is a friendly reminder. I had this with my girlfriends. This is what you're supposed to do in summer. Because you need to end summer saying, I hate being unhealthy. I hate sabotage. I want routine and wellness. So you have another month to be a little crazy. Have the margarita. Do it. Because otherwise, like if you get to September 1st and you're like, oh, I'm not ready for this. Like you want to be ready to not be in a bikini, not drink margaritas. You just want coffee and sweaters. So you have to, for your own health, be hungover every Monday.
I have to take one for the team.
You have to.
I'm having this dilemma where I'm like, do I give up drinking though? Because, hear me out. I'm very into like longevity at the moment and anti-aging. Okay. Someone recently told me they thought I looked 21. I got a big head.
Stunning.
Got a big head from it. I was like, no, I'm 29. So I was like, man, drinking ages you. It's poison.
It is.
But like, I kind of still like it. Maybe we just save it as a special occasion. We stop doing it weekends, even not even once a quarter, maybe like once a year. Maybe I could become that kind of girl. Maybe.
If you want.
Just maybe.
I know I think about it, but it's so much fun.
I know.
But now I know when to make it worth it. And that's on maturity. Like, sorry, no, we just randomly show up to a place and we have a wine with dinner and it's just going to make me sleepy and go to bed. I'm sorry.
Totally.
I don't care. I like if I want to have sleepy, I'll have magnesium. I'm not going to have alcohol to make me sleepy. So, which is fine. But it's like now I don't care. And if someone around me wants to do it, I'm not going to shame them. I'm not going to tell them no. But now I'm just like, no, that doesn't serve me. But it's Vegas. Is it my birthday? Is it, the
wedding?
Nice sunny? Is it just we're going to go patio hopping in Vancouver and we might as well take advantage of our expensive rent? Yeah. I'm not going to have a drink. I'll have a lot of drinks because if I'm going to drink, I'm going to make it worth it.
Yeah, that is one thing about you. You're like, go big or go home.
I'm usually like, I'm definitely like, we'll go 6 weeks without drinking and then I'll go drinking. And that's balance for me. I'm not saying
I think I
should
adopt that more.
But it's just makes it like I always go and I'm like craving a drink. Like that first margarita after 6 weeks is so good. The next day I'm like, And the cycle
Absolutely.
repeats.
Yeah, I agree. Well, besides that, how are you?
I'm good. I'm not hungover because I've had so many of those weekends that this week we were like, we're being wellness girlies this weekend. So it was a wellness girly, get my sleep. Did a run this weekend with Ash. We did a 10K for like 10K Pride race here in Vancouver, which was stunning. I tested the hookahs during it. So that review will be coming. And yeah, it was just got my errands done, was in bed by 10 o'clock every night. Like I'm so well rested.
Wow. Yeah. Good on you.
Nice. I needed it because I pulled an all-nighter on Monday. I went drinking the weekend before and the weekend before that. I was in France. So I just needed my bed, and it was great.
Absolutely. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you want to get into your first hot take, or should I get into mine?
I do have a hot take.
Go
and
for it.
It is hot. And please, I'm sorry, it's going to be, some people are going to be mad, but I'm just going to say it. We need to stop with this trad wife versus boss babe stuff and let women live. Because it's like, we're in such a cool time right now that if you want to be a trad wife, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, a Pilates mom, you just want to make sourdough and dental floss from scratch, you can do that. If you want to never have kids and live a child-free life and just have a cat and be a boss babe living in Manhattan and be the cool aunt, you can do that. And neither is right or wrong. And it's just like, we're just constantly, like, I just see so many like articles of like women being torn down and like their idea of what a woman should be in this modern age, and vice versa, all around, like all sides are doing it. I'm like, why can't we just celebrate that for once women can do over what the hell we want? And I don't know, every day there's a new article about it, and I'm like, go trad wives, go boss babes. I love that you can be a soft girl era, you can be working hard. Like, I think that's kind of nice.
And like, men don't get that. They don't get that in the industry. Think of Andrew Huberman, that latest scandal. Yeah, okay. It was hot goss for like a week. Nobody gives a flying frick anymore. They're just like, over. Oh, he cheated on this girl and he had all these weird. Oh, all right. Back to your regimen on how to be healthy. They don't do that with women. They like remember. They tear them down. Like, are you referring to Ballerina Farm? Farm?
Anna and Narna. Why am I blanking on her name? Narna Smith.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm blanking on her name right now. But both of them. But the Ballerina Farm was like the big hit piece about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know her life. She could be really, sad and all this. And she was a ballerina. And if that is what happens, but at the same time, I'm like, if this is what she loves and like she made sacrifices and she's aware, but she's happy. Like,
totally.
I just hate her tearing down. Exactly. Yeah. I just hate the constant, like, I think you should be a traditional wife. So don't go, pursue your dreams and like bearing children is the best thing, or vice versa. You know what I mean? On the complete opposite, it's like, you should be out living your dreams. Why are you sacrificing it for your husband? I was like, why can't we just be like, go girl, you're living your dream. Go girl.
Totally. And it's like to each their own, like how you want to live your life. Some people, they all they've wanted to be was a mom. Some people, they don't want to have kids. And it's like both get judged. Literally, the mother will get judged for, like you said, giving up her dream, being, not having a personality anymore other than her children. But then on the other hand, if you don't want kids, you're looked at as a weirdo and you're cold and you're not maternal. Yeah. And it's like, it is sad how like women, we are put on a different pedestal and like they'll just tear you apart. But you know what I do find beautiful? Have you noticed this? Like, in the sense of sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I think everybody deals with this to an extent in their own way. But I think negativity online has become so freaking common on these apps that like, I bet people like Ballerina Farms or NARS or whoever you were talking about, like they hear this, but it'll go away because there'll always be another woman to tear down. There'll always be like, I just think it's so common now. Before there used to be like maybe Reddit threads secretly. Now it's like people reveal things on TikTok and there's just so much negativity that it's almost like you become deaf to it or like that you just get used to hearing such negative things constantly.
Exactly. There's like, it's one of those, it's just a sad reality. It's like people hate on anything down to the color of dish towel you picked. Someone will hate on it. So there gets to be a point where you just say, whatever, and move on.
Totally.
But I'm just like, I think every woman deserves to find a purpose, and sometimes purpose is motherhood, sometimes purpose is a hobby or a career, and like as long as someone has purpose, go, love it,
absolutely,
keep doing you. And so that's why I was like, there's a lot of discord about it. I'm like, let women live.
Yes, and if it's a fad, a trend you like, do it,
jump on,
run it up,
do it,
make sourdough one day. Don't do it. Yeah,
I know, it sounds lovely.
I agree.
Like if I had the time. Yeah, but I live in a small apartment and I don't know where I'd get flour like that.
Yeah. If I didn't burn everything I touched, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's just not me.
Yeah. Teach your own.
I went to pick up sourdough. I purchased it from this bakery and there's been this event that's getting put on near it. And like all weekend they set it up. This event looks so bougie, you guys. It's like they've definitely shelled out some money for this. Like you look inside this venue, it looks like a wedding. They physically built their own like tent with AC in it, hanging chandeliers in a tent, like crazy beautiful. And then you go into like this room and like where they're going to have food, and everywhere is hanging flowers. Wow. It is as if I am high fae. Actar people get it. It is so beautiful. And you know what? I went to pick up my sourdough today and they had set out the sign. It was somebody's engagement party. Not even a wedding. And I was like,
that's going to be a nice wedding.
That's going to be a nice wedding. I'm like, wonder where you're doing the wedding. Yeah. So, because it's usually a welcome party unless they mixed up engagement party.
Who knows?
I think this is just for an engagement.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
Must be nice.
I just had to share that about my sourdough, and I went to go get it, and I was like, this is beautiful. I'm like, my engagement party was, we went back to my apartment after we got engaged, and my friends like made their own little taco thing for us. It was fantastic. But this
sounds great.
Like, whoa, like who's here?
Rich.
I need to know.
They're rich.
Harry Potter, you back?
I was literally about to be like, that must be why Daniel was there.
Oh, that would actually be so epic. No. But anyways, my next hot take is I feel like the older I get, the more I appreciate organizing. And I feel like I used to think about it. When you're a kid, you walk into a house, you know where things are in your kitchen. You don't realize your mother put blood, sweat, and tears into her organization, right? And at some point in her life, she hit this like, I don't know, quarter life crisis where she's like, I must organize this entire fucking house. That's me right now. The most mundane things I'm organizing. Really, my life's not that exciting right now, guys. I'm reading Actar, watching Taylor Swift Eras Tour, and organizing my house. So that's just, I just think the older, I was talking to my friend about, I'm like, the older I get, the more I'm excited by like organizing. Like my friend Maddie had just redid her entire closet, and I was like, send me a video. And we were just like gawking over it. And I was like, we would think this is so boring when we were in high school.
But it's just one of those things. Or it makes you realize when you go to a friend's house that had those, everything was in place home. So you didn't think anything of it. You're like, oh yeah, they're like, the Smith's house is just really nice and organized. And now you're looking back, you're like, that mother deserves an award. Like if she labeled things and all that, I'm like, oh, with children you did that? Oh my God. How'd you do it? I want to know. Now I want to know. As a kid, you just were so just throwing it out, messing up the bins. Who cared?
Exactly.
Love it.
Okay. Do you have a next hot take?
Just short and simple. I miss Costco. I just gotta say it. I've lived downtown for so many years, and I just miss having a big cart with my big SUV, driving up to Costco, filling her up, going home.
Can you not go?
The Costco is, I don't have a car.
Yeah, but if you really wanted to, couldn't you ask a friend?
None of my friends, like, you know what I mean? Like,
they don't have cars?
Some do, but like not many. Like I'm a downtown girly. We walk, we transit. Like there's not, and it's a hassle. Like there is a Costco downtown, so we go to Costco, but like it's not enjoyable. It's not, we're pulling up, big parking lot. It's a Costco with no parking lot. We'll put it that way. So I go there to get the hot dogs quite often. Hangover Keltie on a Sunday. You see me drink on a Saturday, go there Sunday morning, you will see me getting a hot dog. It's just the lays of the land. But I just miss having a big SUV, like Alberta, the wide open prairies, loading up, taking my time. It is not a take your time, nice Sunday experience here. It is warfare. Like you get one thing of water, pop, anything heavy. That's all you're getting, and it's a trek to make it back.
You have to walk it back.
Where am I carrying everything? You know what I mean? There's no car to put it in. So like I get a 24 pack of Diet Coke and I throw it in my Uber. I'm like, cool.
Oh my gosh. And a rotisserie. Do you like, or Michael says I say this wrong. Rotisserie.
Rotisserie. Now you're making me think because you are saying it wrong, but now I know.
Rotisserie. No, he says I'm saying it wrong.
You are.
Rotisserie? Rotisserie.
Yeah, there we go. There you go.
Rotisserie. Say that 20 times fast, people.
I don't want it anymore.
I don't want it. But yeah, he always is like, why do you break up that word? And I'm like, I don't know. But you don't get the chicken because that's all I get. Well, no, I get a lot of things, but that's my favorite.
if I shop on my own, I get one thing. That's all I have the physical capacity.
Diet Coke.
Remember, because it's a Diet Coke, or it's a rotisserie chicken, or it's the big thing of salsa. Like I go to Costco, and I'm carrying one or two things. Like it's what can fit on my back or in my hands, and that's all. That's all I got. So that's why I just miss a bit. Like that's why I don't go to Costco. You go to Safeway, Superstore, where you can just have 2 bags in your backpack. But I miss a Costco haul, a big, get everything for a month Costco haul. It's been probably like 8 years since I've been able to do one.
Oh, wow.
It's been a while.
I'm over here. I do it once a week. So I feel you. I get myself a coffee. I like treat myself. I'm like, nobody bother me. I listen to my favorite podcasts and I just like vibe.
I miss it. Next time
I'm
you
like
go,
that bitch that leaves the cart like somewhere random and I'll like walk across the entire place.
Yeah.
I am that girl. Of course it's out of people's way, but there's a little hack. If you're like, oh shoot, I forgot something all the way in the produce aisle, just put your cart in a corner. No one's going to steal it. Why? It's too big and heavy. And just go get it. I've learned that. Fully. Instead of like trugging it. I used to be that person who would trug it everywhere.
I thought you meant you left it in the parking lot. I'm like, don't tell me you're one of those people. No. That makes sense. I
am one of those people though that like when I want to get to my car and it's like a downhill slope, I just ride the cart. I like give myself a little boost and then I just ride the cart.
Genius.
And like even anybody sees me, I'm like flying on my cart, like woo to my gym.
Ballsy. I like it. I've never been in a place where there's a hill with a shopping cart. That's never.
It's beautiful.
Never happened.
It's so fun. Yeah.
I'm from the prairies. It's flat. There's
fair.
No,
but you could hypothetically like give yourself a kickstart and it's gonna roll. It's gonna get speed.
I guess, yeah. I have kickstart. I've put one foot on and you kind of skateboard it. I've done that.
Yeah. That's me in a corner. But
love it.
All right, my hot take before we move on is I'm in my Bridgerton classical music era.
Ooh,
my friend sent me this song that like reminds her of Akhtar. And I was like, oh my God. Guys, that's A Court of Thorns and Roses, in case you didn't know my life. And I like started playing all this Bridgerton classical music. And what I love about this is when I work, I don't hear like voices, right? Like I'm not hearing someone singing, but I know the song. So it'll be like blank space Taylor Swift, but with like a violin. And it's so beautiful and peaceful. And last night after our 3 margaritas, Michael's cooking up his, what he caught. I'm making tacos. And I was like, babe, I got to show you this. I'm so obsessed. And I play it and he was like, it's lovely, but this is not the vibe of 3 tequilas, Savannah. And I was like, yes, it is. And I'm like, la, 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 la. But we changed it to country. But that's all vibe. That's my era.
I love that for you. What an era. That's a good one to be in. Stay in that one as long as you can. That's a good one.
I will.
Plant some feet. Plant some roots.
Hold it. Yeah. Hold ground. Steadfast. Yeah. Okay. First headline. I'm doing this for you mostly. The Olympics. What do you think so far?
I got a confession. It's been hard to time. Like I got to get my Olympics routine right now because you know what I mean? It's not going on like time zone difference. And like, I don't have a TV that like plays cable. So now it's like over the weekend, I was running the race. I was running downtown. So starting today, it's Monday all day. I just want the Olympics playing at the background on our TV at work. And then I'm going to fully get into it. So right now, all I'm really able to watch is like highlights. And that's not like, you don't watch Olympics for the highlights. You watch it it's just always on the TV. So you have an excuse to just not work and look up and be like, oh, kayaking. I'm interested in that. And you know what I mean? And then you wait for the 100-meter sprint and gymnastics and swimming. And that is like, okay, we're going to sit down and watch this. So I'm not fully in it. I'm just like soaking up all the highlights. My life is consumed, but I haven't truly sat and watched. But I just love the vibe of it. It's like Canada gets such pride. US, I see all the US Olympic like clothing lines, Skims, Sporting Rich, like they all have their Olympics. I love it. All the countries coming together. So I'm just living in it. But I don't have too much to say about it specifically, aside from that.
Okay, fair.
How about you?
I mean, this may be a really unpopular opinion, but I am not a big Olympic watcher. And like, hate me, guys. I don't know. It's just my attention span is never there with sports. I don't watch sports, period, usually. So like it makes sense. I do love gymnastics. Like I think Simone Biles is a badass. Like, did you see the injury with her leg? And like she still just slays. And like also her like routine, it's to Taylor Swift. Like it's
perfect.
Of course, my eyes will be drawn there. But I feel like what I watch more, and I wonder if anyone else is doing this right now with the Olympics, is the like Olympic Village TikTok.
Oh, so good.
I
so
love
good.
it. And like there's the one rugby player and she like makes it Love Island themed. And I'm like, I love this. So I'm more interested in TikTok on like behind the scenes than the Olympics itself.
Yeah. That's fair. I love it all. Like, where's LeBron James sleeping? You're telling me that man can fit on a little cardboard bed? That's the stuff I need to know. And like
the cardboard bed thing is so weird. Like these people break their bodies.
I know.
And they are making them like sleep on these cardboard beds. Like why? Like was it anti-sex or was it just like to be, you know, environmentally friendly? Can't we be friendly in different ways?
Right? The last one was anti-sex because it was COVID. So that's why. But this year, it's like Paris is trying to be the most sustainable Olympics ever or whatever. So I guess this is how they do it, which I'm not saying I don't want, you know, to contribute to polluting Earth. But like cardboard, we got to have better options. I don't know what it is. Put them in the Ritz. The most beautiful, the most expensive hotel on Earth is in Paris. And they can't figure out a way to make these like celebrity, like these, they're the best of the best and they're having bad sleeps. I'm like, I'm a little upset because I didn't get 8 hours yesterday and I'm just filming a podcast and they have to go like break world records.
I just find it mind-boggling. Probably the top 2-3 things you need is like a proper, you know, place to do your sport, right? Like an arena, whatever it is. Your food and your water, of course, and your sleep. That's like your body, like that's what you need for your body when you're an athlete. And like the fact they're making them do this is the strangest thing. And I totally get being environmentally friendly. I think that's awesome. But I literally think it's a publicity stunt. Like this just makes it just makes no sense to me. I'm like, why would you break these poor little athletes' backs when they're already doing everything a normal human can't do?
It's
like,
crazy.
I'd cry. I think I would like sneak out and I don't know, find an Airbnb if I could. Yeah, definitely.
They probably do. Actually, if you want to, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but if you want to just a good little giggle. So how the actually food is set up is they have like every country, like, so they have this massive cafeteria everyone eats and you can go eat like French cuisine. You could go eat Thai, whatever. They have all these just so like, and so all the Olympics sent out to their nations. It was like any requests. So like exactly you're eating things you're used to versus going there and it's all dairy and you're dairy intolerant. But it's really funny to look at what each country requested as like we must have like for example, I think it was like Korea asked kimchi. I don't remember Canada's, but I remember like America's was peanut butter. That was like the we must have peanut butter. And it made me laugh so hard that like you could have anything in the world and America's like, God forbid there's no peanut butter in Paris. Like
I love that. I would have swapped
it
for Nutella. What the hell?
Well, I'm like, you're in Paris, eat Nutella. Come on. But it's just the fact that it was oatmeal. What was it? Yeah, oatmeal, breakfast cereal, and peanut butter. I'm like, yeah, that would be what America asked for. Great request. But it was like,
great, but
I can't remember them all, but they're all so just classic. Like Korea would be like kimchi. And then, you know what I mean? It's just like, and Japan asked for miso. There was just, it was so, it's great. I absolutely loved it. I loved it.
True, but who doesn't love peanut butter? Minus all the nut people, you know, to be fair. But I like used to eat peanut butter multiple times a day. And then I read something really weird about peanut butter and I don't buy it anymore. And I'm not going to tell you guys, you can do your own research, but I don't buy it anymore. And I make it a special treat when I go out. But when I go out, I'm like, load up the peanut butter. Give it to me. Yeah. Hand over the peanut butter. Nobody gets hurt.
Yeah. It was what you told me. And I literally blurted out. I was like, I know there's a reason you don't eat it. And you told me. And now I'm like, I just
don't want to freak people out. Yeah. Because I'm sad I got freaked out because I love peanut butter. Okay. Next question on the Olympics before we move on. What do you think of these influencers going with brands?
I mean, might as well. Like in my eyes,
Totally.
I'm like, get all eyes on the
Fascinating.
Olympics, all eyes from all different angles. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm here for it. Like send me. I just want to see what it's like. Like so, it. You know what I mean? Like my only down, yeah, it'd be nice if all the athletes got a lot more money. Like that's the one downside, and these influencers. But at the same time, more eyes on the Olympics, more money for the
Yeah.
athletes. It's kind of I'm like, send it. Where else? Like, why would you be in? No hate on Spain, but like, who cares about the influencers in Spain right now? I want to see the ones in Paris. So I'm here
Totally.
for it. I'm here for it.
I saw that and I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen influencers go to the Olympics like that on a paid trip. But also, to be fair, it was COVID. I was like, wow, that's got to be fun. I think if I was invited, I'd do some major research because I'd be over here like, so I've seen like 5 clips in my entire life of the Olympics. Like, they'd hate
better
me.
Prepare. Next one is in LA. So talk about influencers.
Oh, dang.
So I'm planting seeds right now. I'm like, I got 4 years to be like, I need to go there to be asked. I don't care who. Someone asked me. I'm like, Apple, how do I sell my soul? How do I sell my soul?
I was going to say, I feel like you go on a lot of these trips. Like, how did you not get invited? I'm annoyed for you.
I'm like, I'm not, I went to Tour de France, so I'm like, I'm happy.
True.
But that's why I'm like, see, I can I can talk to an athlete and ask about recovery.
I say, but you were like the epitome. Like, oh, I'm annoyed.
Thank you.
Get Keltie O'Connor to the
I got
Olympics.
4 years to manifest it. So
okay,
coming
we will all plant it for you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next headline was, I just thought it was interesting. It was dietitians dish on what kind of snacks are great for high protein. And I just feel like this is a very commonly like asked question. Even me as a trainer with a lot of my girls, they're like, how do I get more protein in? So I just thought it'd be kind of interesting. They gave ideas and I wanted to know what you do. But for those that aren't sure, what counts as like a high protein snack is about 10 to 20 grams of protein. I just realized I poured a protein shake out on my counter to have with this podcast and it's sitting there. Damn it. Oh, damn it. But
life.
I just realized I put it out in the fridge and I was like, oh, grab it. Never mind. But anyways, they say this is why aim for about 10 to 25 grams of protein around no later than 2 hours after your workout. I just came from my leg day, so I was kind of wanting to have this. And honestly, I think the point, a lot of people are like, how do you get higher protein? You have to plan around it. I don't think it's very natural to have like a pretty high protein diet, depending on your blood type, depending on your certain diet that you have. And a lot of people are kind of recommending the dietitians on this article were saying, try doing more whole foods based food, like animal product, lentils, beans, nuts, seeds, before resorting to like the processed protein bars. And if you do have high protein, don't forget your fiber. Okay. Take it from me, guys. I went on a cut and I had extreme high protein. And I literally had to go see a gastrologist because I was having issues. So it's like, I know. Just like, be careful, have your protein, throw your chia seeds in. Take that really weird Metamucil, whatever it's called.
A Metamucil?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It was like 2 years ago I had this issue and I was like, what's wrong with me, doctor? And they were like, did you change your diet recently? And I was like, yes, I did. Maybe. Yeah.
That'll do it.
But what do you have to say so far?
I think it all depends on like your goals. Obviously, I think there's the amount of studies that go with longevity and having protein in your diet, because it is the building blocks of muscle, as every dietitian will tell you. So it's so important. And I think you just have to assess like if you have to be mindful or not. Like, I won't lie, I don't really have to be mindful of protein because I grew up in a household that ate a lot of meat. So it's like very instinctual to like always have eggs or Greek yogurt with breakfast, or turkey bacon, or, you know, some ground meat, and have a meat source at lunch and a meat source at dinner. And like right there, plus I have a snack before or after a workout, and just make sure it has protein. Right there is 4 servings. It usually ends up being 30 grams times that by 4. It's about as much as I need. So it's like one of those things, if you're a meat eater and you're constantly having it at most meals, I don't think you have to be as conscious about it. Like, I mean, you should be conscious about it, but like, don't overthink it too much. Also, if you're not trying to lose weight, like for example, me, I'm pretty lucky that I have quite a lot of like energy expenditure. Like, so I have like a lot of room. So as long as I get those, it's all done. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I probably get more protein because things like oats, nuts, lentils, which I'm having, also have protein. So that's like extra on top of it, which isn't necessarily the more the better in that sense. But then, like I said, if you're someone who's like, I'm not naturally thinking about meat, I don't really enjoy meat, I think you definitely have to be a bit more conscious of it. And I even see this list, which you can read off after, of like things that aren't meat based as much, that you are nice ways to think about having in every meal. And I think the best thing you can kind of do, instead of like hyper fixating on protein and all that, is like just learn what a serving size of protein is. Like just take the 1 day, 2 days and be like, oh, this much yogurt is about a serving of protein. Oh, I actually would have to eat 3 tablespoons of peanut butter to get 15 grams of protein. Like an egg doesn't have that much versus a chicken breast. You know what I mean? I think it would be nice just to kind of have that idea, and make sure to have 3 servings of it a day and something around your workout. Also, there used to be that thing where you had to have protein 30 minutes within the 30-minute span of your workout. That's not really the case as much anymore, in the sense of like, if you eat a bunch of protein right before you work out, it's in your system already. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's not as I was like, around your workout, just make sure you have some protein and a full serving of it. And just be conscious. If you're already eating a bunch of meat, you're probably okay. If you're not, you got to be a bit more conscious. Just like someone like you has to be a bit more conscious of fiber. So I think it's just learning those macronutrients. And when you're in a weight loss, that's your goal, being a lot more conscious of your protein. Because the last thing you want to do is cut protein. You're more likely to lose muscle. But if you're not in a calorie deficit, you kind of have that wiggle room. So that's why I'm like, it really is dependent. Like, I'm not too strict on it. But if I were to ever cut, I would definitely be like, have to have this much cheese. So I'd be quite regiment about it, because especially the older you get, you don't want to lose muscle. But that's my word vomit.
No, I agree. And I think, like you said, it depends on who you are, because I think why my body reacted so poorly was I'm somebody that has very, very low protein. But like my household growing up, my mom ate vegetarian a lot of her life. That was just like, she grew up on a farm where my grandma would make a lot of vegetarian dishes because it was more affordable than meat, right? Like that was back in 70s. And then, so she was just raised eating more plant-based. So, and I just was raised eating more plant-based as well. And then, so I just don't really eat a lot of meat, and I don't think of protein. So that's where like, even if I'm not in a weight loss right now, I'm not in a cut, but I do have to be aware of that because of how I'm lifting and how active I am. So I think that's where sometimes we have to supplement it. Like if it was up to me, I would never eat any animal product, like in the sense of meat, like milk, cheese, whatever. But like meat, I could truly become a vegetarian and be happy. But I thought it was kind of interesting. They were saying in it, like in the sense of you have to be really like methodical, is sometimes I think it's overwhelming to be like, well, do I just have protein bar? What kind of protein do I need? Do I have to eat like a whole chicken? Like I don't get it. So they kind of recommended this thing that was like 1 hard-boiled egg, which would be 6 grams of protein. Pair the egg with 3 slices of deli meat, which I think was 10 grams, and a handful of nuts, which is 5 grams. There you have it, 21 grams of protein. So I thought that was cool because right before this, I was going to have my protein shake, but I also made a little protein plate. And I like threw deli meat, I had cheese. It was really good. Fruits, hummus, all that kind of stuff. So I just thought if girls are wanting to do more high protein, a lot of the girls I train, they're always, a majority of the time, we are lacking protein depending on our diet, right? That's like more of what we lack. So here's some ideas for the girls. Love. Plain Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, which love cheese, dairy milk, soy milk, pea protein milk. Protein milk, I don't know what that is.
Just probably pea protein, but then shaken with milk. I mean,
that would defeat the purpose. Peas.
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
Protein. Most vegan protein powders are pea protein. Like that's where they get it from.
Yeah, it's throwing me off. Pea protein milk.
They're probably like pea. There is like pea milk, like PEA, not PEE.
Pea milk.
I feel
so bad for our listeners right now.
I know.
Hard-boiled eggs, nut or seed-based trail mix. You know what I do? A little hack is I buy. There's like a little seed-based like salad topper. With sunflower seeds and everything, all these different pumpkin seeds. at Costco and I buy it.
Yeah.
It's like $7 and I just pop it on my avocado toast. I put it in my salads. So good. People, like they said, handful of nuts, seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, literally what I said, sir. Hemp seeds, chia seeds, that also helps with your fiber. Nut or seed butter, edamame, which is delicious. Chickpeas, you guys, I always like air fry chickpeas. Like all this is my jam. Canned or poached tuna or salmon, egg-based wraps, or high-protein cereal or granola, which I think Costco has a few different options of that as well.
Yeah. I love it all. I love it all. So it's just one of those, if you're girly listening and you don't have a high meat, a high dairy, because dairy is actually very high in protein, depending on the kind. And you're already, that doesn't, and also if it doesn't sit well with your stomach, like I know some girls, they obviously dairy, a lot of people, but meat sits in their stomach. Like, oh, it doesn't make me feel good. Just like you said, use some of those different food combinations to make some meals that Sav just listed out. And that's a great way to get protein in if you're not one of us dairy meat eaters. Because, you know, as long as you're getting in protein, your source, I think, comes down to preference.
Totally. Yeah. So there's a little tidbit for the girlies.
Love
we
it.
do keep it fitness here. Okay, next headline. I got to ask you, what do you think of Hawk Tauh, girl?
I have a thought about her, but I think you should read the intro before I say my thought, because
okay, like as in who is she? Because we're getting better at giving context, our friends. Okay, so I'm asking Keltie, what do you think of her 15 minutes of fame? And you're like, who is Hawk Tauh, girl? I was late to the game as well with Hawk Tauh, girl. I had no idea who she was. I had to look her up. So she had this interview where basically first I was like, can I say this? I'm like, it's our podcast. We can say whatever we want.
100%.
So this interview was like this random on the street in like Venice, or I think it was Nashville actually. And this guy, I think, was it like, what's like the most significant thing you do for a guy? Or like, how do you get a guy to like you? She made this sexual joke that went viral of her basically saying she Hawk Tauh like spits, if you guys know what I'm alluding to, on something before she's doing something. And that's how she went viral. This girl had no social media presence at all, but yet somehow she had signed with this like crazy agency. Now she has social media. She's like doing tours. She's like really making her own personality, and like almost like she wants to be the next, Alex Earl. But what's so strange is she got famous off of an interview that was actually quite sexual, that like was definitely more, like a joke opposed to getting famous as like Get Ready With Me's or something. Yeah. So definitely. I'm curious, like, what do you think? I mean, she's just like all over the news. When I was looking for headlines, I'm like, Hawk Tauh girl responds to this. Hawk Tauh girl makes her first appearance. Yeah. And that's her name, Hawk Tauh girl. Yeah. Imagine that.
No one even knows her real name. At first, when it happened, I was like, hilarious. I'm like, oh. And then there's some rumblings of her making something. I was like, I'm kind of for how many people have been turned into memes, and that's all they are. They're kind of just become a joke. Like, they don't get monetized, even though everyone knows who they are. And it almost seemed like, oh, she was the first girl to like monetize. But also, it's like, at first, I'm like, oh, it's just another, not to shit on influencers. I'm like, that'd be very hypocritical, but just like another person who's famous for being famous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was kind of like, what are they going to do with her? Like a podcast, like Instagram? Like, it was kind of like she was just said a funny thing. And I'm like, what are they even do? And then I saw her on Whitney Cummings' podcast. Make this girl the next Alex Cooper. She is hilarious. Oh my God. Go find the clip of her on Whitney Cummings' podcast. Whitney Cummings calls Matt Rife because she's like, oh, what's your ideal guy? And she kind of like describes Matt Rife. No. And then Whitney's like, want me to call him? And she's like, yeah. And so she's like on the fly. And this girl is hilarious. She's talking to like, obviously someone she would like have a crush on Whitney Cummings. Like, these are like A-star, like A-lister, like comedians, like top of the top. And she just spit game with them. I was laughing. I'm like, okay, she's just like completely like, I don't know. She's so funny. She like calls herself a crack baby. Sorry. It was so funny. Go watch it. It's hilarious. I'm like, okay, this girl.
You're team Hawk Tauh.
I'm now that I saw that interview, I was like, oh no, she has a personality. We need more Hawk Tauh. I am for it. What about you?
I think she totally has a personality. She's very, very entertaining from like the few clips I've seen. I I cannot tell if social media is going to run with her or drop her like a hot potato. Because
We'll
there's
see.
some people, this is like the horrible thing about social media is these girls will like, or not girls, society. Sorry, not girls. It was a society will build somebody up and then they'll tear them just as hard down. Like we see this time after the time of like our most beloved people we follow. And at the end of the day, everybody gets hate to some extent, but I'm seeing a lot of the negativity on it right now. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, I kind of like her. But then I do see where there was no substance she had built. So I think she'll go pretty far. I don't think she'll completely disappear because she like full on sent it. And she's funny. There's not like a Southern Belle influencer like that. They're quite LA. So I think like she's very down to earth, which I think people like. But I just cannot get over the fact she somehow like I wonder how viral that video went that she
crazy.
Like there were so many rumors about her. It was just crazy on everybody that if you don't have TikTok, you're probably like, I don't know who Hawk Tauh girl is. But yeah, I just need to get your take because I'm like, we haven't discussed Hawk Tauh. The whole thing is so funny.
Like balls in her court. Like she could just like all these people hate on her and it could be like, oh, she has nothing and she fizzles away. Or she could be like, I've got this chance. I've got to give it my all. And she could make something of it. Like,
I kind of want her on Call Her Daddy.
Oh my God, yes. I think it could happen. I bet you it's actually in the works. That seems very on brand.
Very on also, brand. If anything, you could twist it being like you were this huge meme. You went all out. How does that feel?
Yeah, there's many. She could she's got at least 10 years of content to make.
10
and then
10 years.
At least. You know what I mean? Go hit every year, hit one of the major podcasts, space it out, be on interviews, and then, invest your money wisely.
Totally. Yeah. It is funny how the internet makes certain people viral. Like Bella, what's her last name? Porch?
Yeah.
Yes. She got famous off of the M to the B, N to the V. Like she's famous off of her face. Like it's so interesting how people go viral and then they totally build a brand. Then Bentley. Sorry, guys. There's a child that just was running and it upset the dog, I guess. What a guard dog Bentley is.
Yeah, frightening.
I know, right? He's so scary. Everybody stay away from my big old husky.
Yeah.
We are thinking about getting another dog. We're like tempted. I know there were 3 strays that came up to our house and they were so darn cute. And Michael was like, well, we could adopt one. And I'm like, we can't split them up, So
true.
If whenever we do get a dog, it's going to be a stray with so many in Puerto Rico and
so nice.
Preferably a bigger dog to scare people because Bentley is a pipsqueak.
Yeah. He needs a protector.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so should we get into advice first or a quick game I had?
Let's do advice and then save the game for our next episode.
Okay, sure.
Sounds
good.
So we got a fun game.
It's
Should
our
we tease
podcast.
The game? Should we tease the game for next week? So there's something to look forward to.
Ooh. Okay, this is a game I just made up because I was like, why not? It's a game of what's acceptable for the gym. In the sense of I feel like you and I have very different opinions on these. I wrote down 3 things. I don't know why I had this pop in my head. It was a couple weeks ago and I just wrote it down.
I like it.
But okay, so if you are interested on what's acceptable for the gym and you want to know by the 2 gym girlies, listen up. Stay tuned
to next week. Hit subscribe, hit follow, notification bell on. We'll be on next week.
Check us out. Okay, the advice. And I feel so bad. She wrote in before season 3. So I'm very curious if she could write an update for us, let us know. So the advice was, my boyfriend of almost 5 years left me. We were both 23. The reasons were mostly related to him wanting to find himself as an individual. He is leaving for an internship soon and will be back in September. I saw him a couple times since this happened and he is a completely different person and I don't recognize him at all. Not even in a good way. Wondering if you girls had any tips for me since I thought this would be the father of my children one day and now he's acting completely out of character. Don't know if I should hope for the future when he comes back. Any tips and advice would be appreciated. Love you girls lots.
Okay, so I'm going to give a little harsh truth and what I would do is whenever I've had this happen to me or happen to any of my girlfriends, is the breakup isn't so hard to break up with the guy. It's to break up with the future you had planned. And that's the hardest thing about a breakup is like you have a vision of your future, who this person's going to be. And when you break up, you have to break up with that idea. And so you've broken up with the person, but you haven't broken up with the idea. And like you said, especially in your 20s, people change so much. So it doesn't make it easier, but it just means I don't want you to hold on and waste time planning your life around something might not actually happen. And versus like pivot, this is the time you're in your early 20s. You got to be selfish. You got to make the life exactly what you want, the perfect person. And that guy's clearly changed. So that life you had envisioned isn't going to happen with him, but it can happen with someone else and even better. Like there's so many, I can think of a couple breakups I had in my early 20s and I'm like, this is the end. I will never, I almost didn't break up with them because I was like, I'll never find someone better. But you grow so much in your 20s, you get to know yourself so much that by the end of the 20s, I look back at my early ones, I'm like, I thought that was my future, and not shitting on your future. It's just you have so much exciting times ahead of you and you'll learn so much. And also the men will mature because as you said, everyone's growing right now. Every year someone's going to be different by like end of your 20s, and you never know when you'll meet that person. And I hate hearing that, like, oh, it'll come when you least expect it. But it's more, you just have to go build that life you want, learn yourself more, and do a little breakup of, and it's hard. And I'm sorry you have to go through it. It's not easy, but I think the best thing you could do is like break up with that future with him in mind to make space for like an even better future that's coming your way. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think you're spot on with the advice. I think a lot of people go through this in their early 20s with a relationship because unfortunately, a lot of people don't make it out in the early 20s in the sense. Like even think of high school relationships. It's quite rare to grow together. Yeah. And imagine he's gone. Like he's not going to come back. It's very rare that somebody's like, oh, weird, I was a dick at this point, but now I'm back to normal. He might not be a dick. He might just be a different character that you're like, I don't find this attractive anymore. This wasn't the traits I fell in love with. And that's him growing. And it doesn't make him a bad person. Doesn't make you a bad person. It just might not be what you want. And like, I just think a lot of times it's like, I try to think this one guy I really liked for all of high school. Oh my gosh. But I liked the idea of him. I didn't like him necessarily. And so like I had romanticized because I didn't know him that well. We always were distant. So I was always like, oh my gosh, when we're adults, like we can finally be together. We can drive to see each other, blah, blah, blah. And then the more and more I got to know him as we were adults, I was like, oh, he's a completely different person that I had romanticized and thought of as this character. And he just formed as a different person. And I don't think he's a bad person, but now he's just so opposite of me that I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't waste my time and my youth on that. But yeah, I do think sometimes like couples can make it work that young. Cause I think like I met Michael when he was 19 and I was 20, but also like you have to really choose each other, and he didn't choose you. He chose himself. And like that doesn't make him wrong, but it means that's not your guy. Because like if they really wanted to, they would. That's what I think. 100%. At the end of the day, like as you can say the mind tricks, the mastermind, oh, he really just means this. But at the end of the day, it's sometimes not that deep. He may just like not be that into it. And also girls and guys sometimes I think grieve differently. Like a guy, like maybe right now he's having fun. He's being the individual he wants. He's like, woohoo. And you're like, oh, I'm really sad. I thought I was going to marry him. And then like say in 3 months time, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like I finally get to find time for myself. I'm dating all these really hot guys, or, just getting to know yourself more. And he might come crawling back because it's like, it gets flip-flopped. Like the girls grieve in the beginning. I've just seen that with my friends, and even me, I'll really grieve in the beginning being like, how did they move on so quickly? And then by the time they want you back, you finally moved on and you're like, actually, fully, I don't want you anymore. So you deserve 100%. Somebody better.
And last thing, just to take on, you've obviously been with someone between 18 and 23. And that's like a super formative, single, wild, fun years. And you've kind of been, I won't say locked down, but you haven't fully got to experience it. And I don't know, and I'm not saying you have to go wild and sleep with 100 people or anything like that, but it's a really fun time to like meet new people and just like have that freedom of just selfishness between right now and the next 5 years, and know you can kind of throw it away for 5 years. So if you're single for the next 5 years, you'll be 28. You got plenty of time to find someone. Like, you're so ahead of the game, and you're still so young. It might not feel it, but like, I think it'll be scary when you're on your own dating these people because you have a comfort. But I think sometimes those guys, you feel like comfort. You know what I mean? Familiarity. And it'll be scary. But once you just like get rid of that thing holding you back, you'll be like, the world is your oyster. And it's just know there's such exciting things ahead of you. And I'm so excited for you. Even though it's scary right now, I'm sad.
Don't you remember when you're that age and like say you go through a breakup and it's really hard. Like
really
you put
hard.
James Bay on in the background, Taylor Swift White Horse, and you just cry. Whiskey by Janet Kramer, like I can give you a playlist if you need it. So you put all that on, you're really sad, but then eventually you start to become yourself again because we always mold ourselves to a person. And then you become you again and you feel confident, maybe you start going out with somebody and like maybe really hit it off. And I think the coolest thing about dating is like you get to find the qualities you like and don't like. So maybe the next person, you'll be like, oh my gosh, like I try and think of the guy I dated before Michael. His thing was like his love language wasn't really quality time. And that wasn't bad on him. But for me, it was. And I think I was so like, why don't you want to spend time with me? I don't get it. I thought we were dating. And then when I met Michael, he was like, always like, you're my friend, come hang out with my friends and I. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. And it's just so cool to be like, you meet somebody, the next guy, I can almost guarantee you will like blow you away, depending on the guy, depending on the date. But you being like, there's always someone better. And I really do stand by that. Because do you believe in the term soulmate? Like, do you think that's a real thing?
I do and I don't. Like, it's one of those, like, I don't know if it's like actually soulmate or it's like you're going to go on a bunch of dates, this girl, and the next ones might not be Prince Charming, but you'll learn each time. You'll just know more and more. And you get to a point where you're like, I refuse to be with anyone. Not a crazy list, but you just learn what's important and what's not and like what you actually need. And I don't know if that's what happened. But then sometimes you're with someone that's like so perfect. Like, there's got to be something here. I don't know if we just matured enough and fit into each other's lives so perfectly or if it was divine intervention. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know, but sometimes it feels like it. So I don't know. I don't know if I believe it or not. I'd like to think it's true, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm like, I the romantic of me would like to believe it's true, but I also think you can find people compatible with you always. Like,
fully.
You know, like, I don't know. I just think it's like almost better to think that because then if you do lose somebody, you can always find somebody new if you want to, right?
Very true. Very true.
So I would love an update on the count of it's almost September. So anyways, thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to leave a review, rate us. That always helps us. Follow our Instagram if you love funny little clips or just keep updates. And we have a YouTube channel. So you can watch our faces react.
Woo! Have a great day. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.